The Red Sox have checked into the Hotel California with a 1-0 lead for Curt Schilling on a single by David Ortiz off the glove of a Meziga at second base with 2 out of the first.
I figured it would come a lot sooner than top of the fourth, Tony.
The over-under was an hour, and I beat it. It took an hour 5.
Well, right now, you know these Boston Red Sox want to beat this baseball. Schilling with some tremendous pitches to get out of that jam in the bottom of the third. They're looking for that cushion now to give him.
Side load Ortiz, 3-0 to the big fella.
How about this guy here? Released now by Minnesota.
Terry Ryan, the GM, is very upfront. He's one of the best. Think about what he's done with Minnesota, what he has to work with, i.e. budget. Said, yeah, we know Ortiz is a good player, but we just didn't think he'd be that. Obviously, he wouldn't have been released.
Well, he was always hurt.
One mistake that we really made in evaluating, and they've done a heck of a job.
You know, he didn't start out playing for the Red Sox that much last year, but when he got the opportunity, he really played well. And
it wasn't even on the All-Star ballot last year.
This is pop foul by Kevin Millar. Well, I mean, he got playing.
Huh.
So last year he hit 31 homers, 101 ribbies.
Finished
this year 41 homers
in the American League and the MVP. And Tony, I got to figure he's in the top probably 4 this year.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing about it though is that he does not run well. That being Ortiz.
Ripped to left by Millar. Back. Good. We told you after a quiet first few months in the power department for Kevin Millar that he really turned it up. And he just sat on that pitch by Washburn. 3-0 Boston.
Really making Washburn throw strikes. Shown a lot of patience up there. And Millar got something that he could handle, drove it out of the ballpark. And then 1-0 lead turns to a 3-0 lead. And the job for the Anaheim Angels all of a sudden got a whole lot tougher with those 2 runs right there.
Look at Kevin. Now he's got the frosted with goatee. Before that he had frosted. He had the clear shaven cue ball look for a while.
You know who I blame for all that though? Remember before he went to Florida who he played for? The St. Paul Saints. You know who owns that team?
Yeah.
It's Bill Murray.
Our friend.
You know that somewhere along the line Bill has had an impact on this guy. As he has all of us.
Yes, he has. Probably watching right now. Big sports fan that he is.
Glad I put my cell phone up. I don't want to hear what he has to say.
Oh, we'll hear it. 1-2 to Varitek, who rips it to left, and that plunks in front of Devaney.
You're going to hear that telephone ring down there in that Anaheim Angel bullpen. And Boomer, I think he lost a little bit of that adrenaline that he had going, watching Curt Schilling go through the heart of the order, getting Vladimir Guerrero to fly out to right, and then the ground ball to short by Garrett Anderson. I mean, Curt Schilling went through their big boys when they had a chance to break it open. Boston right now is doing that on their own.
So 3 straight base runners here for Boston. Here in the 4th, shortstop Orlando Cabrera fouled out to Erstad, who made a nice play down the right field line earlier. Cabrera and Vladimir Guerrero, longtime teammates with the Expos, each with a chance to shine in the postseason against each other.
Each one of those guys have paid their dues, Vladdy and Cabrera. They played on some talented teams in Montreal, but they find themselves in different places now. Cabrera with the Red Sox, Guerrero with the Angels. And here they are both in the playoffs. Just think it's just ironic.
Well, we talked a little bit about Montreal beforehand with Cabrera. He says, I really feel bad for everybody up there. I said it all week. We'll just say it one more time. Have nothing to do with Washington. Shame on baseball. They sold out Montreal, in my opinion. I think that would have been a vibrant franchise, a little 31,000 seat stadium downtown. I mean, the Big O is awful. You can't get there. I think they had a chance to make little baseball work, a la Minnesota or something like that. They just waited and given them some support. They didn't. Baseball's gone. I just think that, again, Washington, welcome back to baseball, but Montreal, it would have been great, and I think if it wasn't Canada, you'd hear more about it. If it wasn't French, you would hear more about it. I think baseball should be ashamed of themselves, in my opinion.
You know, when I looked at Vladimir Guerrero there, Tony, I couldn't help but think of Andre Dawson.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew anything about the Hawk until he got out of there and put on that Cub uniform. The same thing just happened to that man.
Yep.
3-1 pitch to Cabrera. And he will walk. So Washburn now struggling. Well, and there is no real bottom of their order. I mean, Bill Miller won a batting title a year ago. He's hitting 8th. Kapler can swing the bat 9. And then there's Damon, who drove in over 90 runs, coming up at the top of the order.
Yeah, without a left-hander on the mound, it's Trot Nixon in there instead of Kapler. So you're right.
Well, the infielders, Erstad and Figgins, pinching in just on the edge of the grass, suspecting what you guys just talked about. You know, everything is magnified at best of 5, so every game, every win, etc. But it's also Curt Schilling that you're going up against.
Yeah.
So how much can you let this go here at 3-0, whereas in the regular season, you hope Washburn, if your Socha pitches out of it, how long do you let it go?
Well, if you look at the rest of the numbers, this game's over with.
Yeah.
In his 11 postseason appearances, only one time has he allowed more than 2 earned runs. So you don't even need more offense. All you got to do is catch the ball for him.
Yeah, Washburn doesn't think it's over. He gets Miller frozen there on strike 3, an important first out.
And then on the other side, as you see, Washburn really locate that fastball in the inside corner.
So Gabe Kapler up with 2 aboard. Drag the ball in there for a strike.
With all of the stats, Boomer, we have these days, I think they need a statistic on how many times a pitching coach goes to the mound and the next guy makes an out. I mean, Bud Black went out there and said something. Whatever he said, it obviously worked in that last at bat.
He's one of the best at his craft, don't you agree?
Yep.
Kapler, sharp hit to right. You know about Guerrero's arm. He's going to try for a force out at second. Your basic 9-6 attempt.
And that's his old teammate.
I think he's the key player in the series for the Red Sox. He's certainly the key player in this game if he can deliver a couple of runs. Looks at a strike from Washburn, who's handled him on a pop-up and a strikeout.
So that 1 for 19 turns to 1 for 21, and he's got the chance to break this thing open. And if you go up to the plate thinking, hey, I'm due, this is it.
Runners in scoring position. He had 355 during the year, although, as you mentioned, against Washburn, not the case. You're right, that last at bat, he looked like he didn't really
just kind of feeling for it.
Huh?
Yeah, and that's usually what happens when you're facing a guy that you haven't had a lot of success. You don't see the ball nearly as well. This is an opportunity for him to really blow this game open.
And as you mentioned, to get off a personal schneid, right? Well, again, kind of just the wave of the bat, Tony, huh?
And this is a situation where it doesn't take a base hit to have some success. A sac fly, a force out anywhere but home, and you get the job done. You get a run in. And sure, you'd like to get the hit.
A rare opportunity to fail, making out, and yet still succeed by driving in a run.
That is correct.
Top 2-2. Meanwhile, the sack's full of socks. Veritek, your runner at third. You see the numbers Tony and Sutter talking about. 1 for 21. But
and both guys know, too. Pitcher knows, hitter knows.
To the left side, Figgins double clutches, throws wild. Veritek scores. Cabrera to the plate. He'll score. 5-0 Boston. Scott Shields with 1 T in the first name has been one of the main. Could look at 8-2 out of the bullpen. But at this point, he's really just trying to choke things off if he can against Mark Bellhorn. And then Manny Ramirez. 2 runners in scoring position, infield in, and already 5-0. Inside, very quickly, you're right. They now will read 1 for 22, Damon against Washburn, but something good out of something bad,
something
right?
positive.
Everyone on the grass and way inside again is Shield.
He's really been one of the unsung heroes for the Angels this year. As you mentioned, Boomer, 8 victories for Shields. He's on right now to try to get out of this jam. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me, Mike Scioscia may run him back out there for one more inning. But after that, he'll turn it over to some of those starters, knowing that Kurt Schilling looks to have settled in.
Maybe Ortiz, maybe somebody like
Lackey.
that, right?
Anyway, you're not going to use this guy for more than an inning or two because this guy, he's too valuable. You may need him tomorrow. And, you know, that's the whole game plan for the Angels. They want to turn this into a series of bullpens.
3-1 now to Bellhorn. He swings through that. You know, on paper, and you don't play games on paper, somebody once said that's why they play the games. Schilling, Washburn, okay, on paper advantage, but tomorrow, Martinez, Cologne, that's why save bullpen. Got to win 3 games last time I checked to move on. And this is only halfway done. Bellhorn pops it out of play.
You know, you think back to that 0-2 series when the Angels did so well. I mean, they lost the first game in a lot of those things and went on. They regrouped and came back out and were able to go on and capture a world championship. They're going to have to get through that, man, though, tomorrow if they plan on doing it here.
Well, they're going to have to play a lot better defense tomorrow. I mean, already they put themselves in a hole. 3 of the.
Yeah, Bellhorn doing what he does a lot. Kyle, thank you. Just so used to seeing Troy Gloss through the years, who fields so beautifully over there at third base, and of course his hitting speaks for itself. But Angels are undermanned, and we haven't even discussed, which we will coming up, the Jose Guillen situation where he's not with the ball club. Meanwhile, Manny Ramirez with 2 runners in scoring position. 1-0 pitch. Drives this to center. Back goes Garrett Anderson. Back he goes. Back. Gone! The Red Sox doing it all in this inning. Well, this is the second time up as you look at Washburn, who can only watch in helplessness as relief not provided by Scott Shields, at least on this afternoon. Manny Ramirez, another one of the many hairstyles. Certainly, there aren't too many that hit like him. He's one of just a few. David Ortiz began this inning with a walk. He's up for the second time.
Terry Francona, their manager, looking at a lot of those hairstyles, said that's the first time he's ever not been ashamed of the fact that he's bald.
Well, you noticed it, Sud, on the pregame where they introduced everybody beforehand and then the national anthem, everybody had their hats off. Now, we just looking at the first 10 guys in the lineup for Boston on the foul line. It was a free-for-all as far as the top of the head goes. Ortiz began it with a walk, scored. He ends it with a ground out to Amezaga.